Today's the day. Cage Day. So today is a huge day for me. Gonna be playing in the Cage, which is a $5,000 buy-in. Gonna be my biggest buy-in that I've ever played in. I think the biggest that I've ever played before this is like a $1,500 buy-in. So now we're playing a 5K buy-in, which is awesome. An insane opportunity that I've been given by Bill Perkins, who just like, hey, you wanna play in the Cage? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So big day today, biggest buy-in ever. Let's try to crush it. So I'm in sort of this weird, nervous yet confident. It's like it's a weird mixture of the two. It's kind of a weird thing with poker. It doesn't matter whether you're playing tournaments, cash games, live online. You can be as prepared as possible. You can be playing great. You can be in the best mental state that you can ever be in. And the poker gods can still just not give a fuck. So yeah, it's this weird mixture of confidence and nervousness. Confidence because I'm feeling great about my game. I think that I'm playing the absolute best poker that I've ever played before. My mental game is, I know, at the absolute best it's ever been, but nervous in the sense that it's such a big opportunity, and you know, you never know when you're just gonna get kings versus aces and there's kind of nothing you can do about it. So there's that bit of, you know, uncertainty about the future, but certainty that I know I'm gonna go in there and play my best game possible. So I do feel confident from that aspect. First hour and a half, not so great overall, down about 900, 8 or 900. Bluffed someone, shouldn't have bluffed, who was just not capable of folding. Ended up making trips in one spot and got raised on the river and ended up folding trips in a pretty close spot in a big pot. Other than that, the table looks pretty good. I would say the two worst players of the table have the biggest stacks, and that's kind of a nice spot to be. Ultimately, the biggest thing that really threw me off is that the blind levels are different than what I expected. I was told by Drew that it was going to be 510, then 1020, 2550, and 5100 with no ante. Turns out starting blinds are at 1020 with a $25 button ante, which is just a massively different game. You're talking about massively different big blinds, massive, you know, with the ante in play, you have to completely change your strategy. So that really threw me for a loop, and I had to kind of adjust on the fly. But ultimately, I'm feeling good going into hour number 2. We are not quite rich, but we are up to 5,100, so plus 100 after 3 hours of play. Made about $1,000 that last level. Someone busted out from my table, so my table was the first one that broke. We were down to 4 people, and then we got busted up, so the 4 of us scattered to new tables. So I'm at a new table that is pretty good. There are like 4 players that are all I consider quite mediocre, and then like 1 decent player. At about 5,100, blinds next level are gonna be 2550 with a $30 button ante. So I'm only gonna go into the next level with about 100 big blinds. So this could be a swingy thing, you know. It's 100 big blinds, not that many big blinds, all things considered. You know, you get involved in a 3-bet or 4-bet pot, and that's, you know, gonna be most of your money. So just gonna keep on playing my best game and go from there. I do want to prove myself, no doubt. I want to prove myself to myself that I can cash this thing. It's much less about the money. The money, you know, if I can cash this thing for like 2 or 3K, that's cool. You know, if I can take home a nice win or just like even just survive to the end of this in the biggest tournament that I've played in, that's really what I want. You know, I want to be able to prove it to myself, to the Twitch audience, that, you know, I'm out here to compete. I want to be able to prove it to Bill that, you know, if he stakes me in something, that I'm able to give him some return on that staking. And so I wanted to prove it to everyone, myself mostly, but yeah, it's not about the money really. You know, if I win 2 or 3K, that's cool, but I just really, really want this. First time I've ever bag and tagged. I'm a cash game player, so we don't do this. First live tournament ever, I guess. So, first time getting the old bag and tag. Day one, pretty good. Ended up to 58.90, I believe was the total, so up about 900 bucks. Day was pretty good. Didn't get any really good hands. I mean, other than the straight flush that I had that I'll talk about, but over a course of a 6-hour period, really didn't have much. Didn't have 9s, 10s, jacks, queens, kings, or aces, not even one time. Had ace king like twice, but that's about it for premium hands. I played a little bit nitty, I think pre-flop, a little bit too nitty, especially with the ante in play. I think I played a little bit too cautious in some spots. Also, if I'm being totally real with you, the money kind of got to me in a few spots. You know, like when the pot starts getting up to $1,000, $2,000, and you know that this might be your last hand, your tournament might be at risk. It definitely gets to you. I could like lie and say, oh yeah, the playing 5K pots, whatever. But after a really long day, you're mentally focused the entire time, and then you're like battling out in 4K, 5K pots. A bit of the nerves kick in for sure. At least it did for me, considering that this was my first big tournament. But overall, pretty good day, considering that I had no real good pre-flop hands. The fact that I end up about 900 bucks, feel great about that. I think that my table draws today were pretty good, but at my 2 tables that I played today, I felt like I was pretty much by far the best player, if I'm just being honest with you. But I felt good about the table draws. As far as the hands go, played a few interesting hands. Okay, so hand number 1, we start off with blinds at $25.50 with a $30 button ante. Folds to me in the button, and I open 5-6 of clubs. Big blind calls. Flop is jack of spades, 9 of clubs, 7 of clubs. Goes check, check. This is a spot where I think it's totally okay to bet. Obviously you have a gut shot to the straight flush. Can never be too bad to be betting a hand with such high equity. But the fact is, this is gonna be a pretty decent board for the big blind. I don't really want to get check raised because I'm gonna be dominated a decent amount by better straight draws, better flush draws, and obviously just hands like 2 pair plus. If you want to bet it, I think that's totally fine. I opted to go with a check this time. Playing a little trappy check back, I think could be possibly good. So I check back. Turn is a 6 of hearts, and so now there is 3 to the straight, but I do pick up a pair. He ends up betting 200, and I have a pretty easy call here. I'm beating all of his bluffs. Yeah, just have a hand with a ton of equity. There is maybe some merit in raising, just with bottom pair, like kind of no kicker with a giant draw there. I do see a lot of merit in raising, but I think calling is going to be totally acceptable, so that's what I end up doing. River, you guessed it, it's the 8 of clubs. So we bang off that straight flush. He checks it over to me, and now, obviously just looking for some value. It's 4 to the straight on the board, so that's a little bit worrisome. It's kind of tough to get called by 2 pairs, anything else like that. So I decided to size up a little bit, trying to get called by straights. And hey, if he has a flush and goes for the check raise, well, we're gonna get him. So I ended up betting about 80% pot. I think I bet like 405 or something like that. He throws in a snap call with a straight, and straight flush is good. So that's hand number 1. All right, so nearing the end of the night, things are getting pretty late. We're about 10 minutes until the end of day 1. Hijack opens to 150. He is one of the, there's like 2 recreational players at the table. Hijack is one of them, and the button is the other one. So hijack opens to 150, button makes the call. I have jack 6 of hearts in the big blind, so pretty easy call here. I throw in the call, throw in the extra 100. Flop is 8-7-3 with 2 hearts, so pretty good flop for the old jack 6. Got a backdoor straight draw, got a backdoor trips draw, got a backdoor, actually I had the front door flush draw, so a lot of good things going on with this hand. I check it over. Hijack bets, I think 300 into the pot, button folds, and I make the call. So turn is a 6 of spades, so now there are 2 flush draws on the board, 8-7-6-3 with a couple of flush draws. I have 3rd pair with a flush draw myself. Check it over to him. Now he bets 700, and it's getting pretty serious. He only has about 3K left behind at this point. I only have about 3K myself, so pretty even stacks at this point. Pot's getting pretty bloated. I don't think there's much else to do besides call here. Again, I guess I see some merits in bluff raising with the blocker. This 6 is definitely going to be much better for my range than his. I'm going to have hands like 7-6. I'm going to have a lot of 8-9 combos. I'm going to have a lot of 4-5 combos, and so the 6 ultimately is just like really, really good for my range as compared to his. But he bet 700, and I just go in with the call. Again, I'm ahead of all of his draws that he could possibly have in this spot. Plus, even if he has an overpair, I can still still had a jack, a 6, or a heart to win. So I think pretty standard call. Raising maybe has some merit as well. So I throw in the call. River is another 6. It's the 6 of clubs this time. And there's about 2,500 or so in the pot, I think. He has about 3K left behind. I have about 3K myself. So all that kind of leads me to wanting to throw in a donk bet on this river with my trips. So that's what I do. I bet about 2K, and he tanks for a long time and then goes with a fold. Ultimately feel fine about my play with that one. And that was the biggest hand I think that I played all day. Everything else was kind of like a small ball strategy. Not a whole lot else going on. So there's a party downstairs. They have a live DJ, I believe. There's gonna be food, drinks. I'm probably not gonna indulge in too much of it. I think I'm looking at the clock right now. It's 8:41. I'm gonna be trying to go to bed at about 10 o'clock tonight. So prepare for tomorrow. Tomorrow's a really big day. I'm up to 6K right now, but everything can go up and down over the next day. Given that the blinds I think are gonna be like 40-80, then 50-100. Gotta make some strong decisions tomorrow. Plus I'm just totally beat from about 8 hours of poker today and ready to relax. But we're gonna go down there. We're gonna check out the scene and we'll see what happens. Meet up with Train as well.
All right, guys, so we just finished day 1 of the cage, and now there's only one thing left to do. It's after party time. So smash that like button, subscribe, follow us, man. We will see you soon, and make sure you catch the next vlog.